Cop Chat. You've got questions for the police? They're here to give you the answers on WEFM 99.9.
The world has become such a cruel place. Something is wrong with the human race. Preacher man say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in our use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
It's now 9. What am I saying? It's now 8:10 here in SVG, and we are in our Cop Chat segment. Joining Roleza and I in studio this morning, we have Mr. Parnell Brown, who is the Assistant Superintendent of Police in the Traffic Department, and Mr. Kenny Jones, who is the Station Sergeant of Police in the Traffic Department. And this morning, they are here to speak on the topic, understanding our traffic laws and enforcement. Gentlemen, a pleasant morning to you.
Morning.
Good morning to you.
All right. So I usually, I give you the opportunity to introduce yourself so people can hear the voice that is associated with the name. So start with the gentleman on the right here. Just introduce yourself.
Good morning to you and good morning to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and persons in the diaspora, wherever this program is being heard or viewed. My name is Parnell Brown, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Officer in Charge, Traffic, Transport and Garage. I'm here this morning to enlighten you as to understanding our traffic laws and enforcement. Feel free to ask questions and to make sensible comments and suggestions on our program.
All right, thank you.
Good morning to you again. Good morning to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and to everyone that's listening to this program this morning. It's always a pleasure being here on the radio to enlighten the general public as to traffic-related matters and to help to sensitize them as to things that they should do and should not do while using the streets of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Okay, then. So I believe there should be a very interesting discussion here this morning. I mean, we're in traffic every day, whether you're walking or you're driving or whatever. Remember, we will give you some time to call us with your questions or to give us your comments on 457-9997. All right. But before we go any further with that part, let's head into our questions at this time. Now, I know this may seem like a rhetorical question, but let's start from the basics. So what are the traffic laws and the guidelines of St. Vincent and the Grenadines? What is their purpose? What are they for? Basic things we're starting with. I don't know whoever wants to answer.
Now, the traffic laws are geared at keeping motorists and pedestrians alike in tune with what is good practice. They were designed specifically, and their strict liability offenses is either you commit the offense or you didn't commit the offense. They are strict liability offenses. They are geared at bringing some form of order to persons who traverse our roads in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In simple.
Right. What are some of the penalties for breaking the traffic laws?
Well, it's a wide range of penalties. They're not too harsh. That is why I believe sometimes people keep committing themselves to say. They range from $250 up, but it based on the discretion of the presiding judge or magistrate. They can lessen the amount based on the circumstances which they see fit.
Right.
What are some of the most common traffic offenses that you note?
Well, a lot of the common traffic offences that we see on a regular basis is, well, in particular for the public service vehicles, we have them stopping on the bus elsewhere other than at a bus stop on a day-to-day basis. We have them failing to comply with some of the road signs that are placed there to ensure that persons are safe, like no entry signs. They fail to comply with maybe a right or left turn signs. Understand? And there are some other offences that we see creeping in where persons are using the vehicle even after registering that motor vehicle, still using a demonstration plate, putting a D plate on that motor vehicle to move it from point A to point B, even after the fact they have already been registered and issued a identification mark. We've also seen persons reducing the size of the lettering on the number plates. That is becoming very prevalent on the street. But there are a lot of offences that occur on the road every single day, and some persons are not even aware that they commit an offence sometimes. It's only when the officer stop them and inform them of the offence that they would know or ask, I didn't know that this was an offence.
And when they say that, what happens? Are they still charged?
Well, it is at the discretion of the officer whether at that time he wants to issue a traffic ticket even after being told that I don't know that this is an offence, or if you want to warn you, because the department is also here. Why we're here to regulate, investigate, and prosecute offenders. These are the reasons why we have our radio programs every morning, and these programs is also to educate the general public. So it could be an opportunity for the officer to say whether he wants to believe your story or not, and say, okay, this is my opportunity to maybe sensitize you or educate you on this issue, and whether you should tell you to not do it again, or so on. So,
okay. All right. So as you're talking on the point of signs, right? Do you think so? Number one, so many of us would have done our driving test like years ago, right? And it was just a lot of regurgitated information that you do to pass that test, right? So how much of it actually stays with us is another story. But the thing of it is that there are not a lot of signs in SVG, or they're not as visible. Markations on the road are also another problem, right? What is it? Has the traffic department been advocating for there to be proper signs placed? Another thing is the speed limit, right? I think I've only ever seen one sign in Kingston where a speed limit sign exists. So when you're going to be charging persons, let's say for speeding, whether it's in Kingston or in the outer districts, what efforts are being made for there to be proper signage, road markation, everything else, so that we can be a little bit more aware, so that when police officers stop us, we're like, oh, but I did not know such and such.
Well, actually, we are constantly enhancing that aspect of our law enforcement. We are, and there are some red tapes when it comes to certain things, but we are in the process also of erecting signs on the poles, on the surface of the road, to allow people as to how they can proceed with caution. So we are it's an ongoing thing. We are actually we are getting there. We're getting there. It's a work in process.
Okay, because I'm always curious about visitors to SVG, how they manage to drive here, because even for me, sometimes as a local, could be a little bit confusing, especially it's not a case where it's an area that I normally travel, but I don't know how visitors make it, I'll be quite honest.
Now, on the topic of signs, how serious does the traffic department and its stakeholders take that particular issue as it deals with signs? Because I have observed where there are signs that say don't park a certain type of vehicle here, and right where there's the sign that says don't park anything here, there are vehicles there that aren't supposed to be parked there. Several vehicles there actually are in some cases. So what's happening with that? How serious is that being taken?
Well, as the SP mentioned before, sometimes the fines, because the traffic ticket in particular, and it's only $80. So if you post a traffic ticket today for parking on a road sign or for committing an offense, or even you clamp their vehicle where they pay $70 and $80 respectively, which is $150. And sometimes the fine to them is very small. So they come back tomorrow and they would park there again because for them it's just an $80 ticket and I could pay that. And sometimes you get that from motorists where okay, it's just a $80, I could pay that. And they don't have an issue if they come down tomorrow, Friday, and park
Because
there.
you could leave the vehicle the whole day and then go and pay for it after, right?
And then they pay for it after.
All right.
So we have these repeated offenders maybe because the fine is small, it's an $80 ticket.
So then the next question is what if that is the case, that means that somebody somewhere should be looking at taking another step so that this problem doesn't continue. And does that apply for the trailer trucks as well? Because I noticed where signs say, they shouldn't be parking, they're parked there, and it's quite visible. So do they have the same measures? Or I don't know.
Well, a road sign is a road sign. If the sign says no parking for trailers, you should adhere to the road sign. And I mean, once the police patrol and we meet a trailer park in an area, the police will take whatever necessary steps to either have that trailer removed from there or to prosecute the person. And as I said before, for the offender, it is at $80 for failing to comply with a road sign offense. So I pay my $80 tomorrow. I have 21 days to pay my $80. I would pay that, and then maybe next week I come back and do the same thing. And that is one of the challenges that we have.
Are there any offenses that are worth jail time, or people get jail time for traffic offenses? No.
Well,
all the fines that complement a prison sentence, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, all of the fines complement. It's either it can be charged or in the discretion of the presiding judge, they can send you to prison. But to complement what the station sergeant said a while ago, is that there's an option open to the police. While an offense might be ticketable, if you are a repeat offender, there are measures that we can take. For instance, we can take it to court straight. Instead of issuing a ticket, we can proceed by summons where we believe that the fines might reflect the seriousness of the offense or what you're doing, and we can take it to court direct instead of issuing an $80 ticket. So there are options, but sometimes we still exercise the rights of giving them the ticket. But there are discussions ongoing in respect of these fines, and in due course, it will reflect what society really requires.
Okay. All right. So we have a question here on the live. Does the loading bay belong to the business or is it used by the general public? Loading bay areas. Is it for the business or?
No, it's a very, very good and important question. The businesses in Kingston are like 4 feet from each other. Every business cannot have a loading bay. If a loading bay is placed in front of a building, let's say courts, it is not for courts only. And it is not for the business. It is for the customer and business generally in that area to use the loading bay. I inherit that sort of concept when I became the officer in charge is that businesses approached me and said that persons, they were told by persons that the loading bay belongs to them. It ain't belong to no business. And I make myself clear. I went to the businesses and I told them the loading bay does not belong to your business. It belongs to businesses in the area. So that persons who a client might go to Peppercorn to purchase something, and a loading bay might be in front Bonadi. In order to pick up the item, which might be heavy or huge, they might park there to go and get a trolley or something too. I mean, you can't tell them don't park there. It is your loading bay.
Okay. So somebody is saying that there are no loading bay signs in SVG. A former police. Okay. All right. So that sign on the streets where you see the diagonals, that is the sign for loading bay, right? So if I choose to come into town and that side, let's say it's in front of Singer, and I pull in there as a private citizen, would I be fined for that? Or can the business report me for parking there? Let's say I'm parking there maybe for 2-3 hours.
It is not for parking. It is for it is for to pick up and drop off.
Okay.
That is why sometimes you see the police will clamp persons who park on loading bay for extended period. But if you can produce a bill after being clamped, if you can produce a bill to the police verifying the reason why you were parked there, whether to pick up or to drop off something, because then the police will use their discretion in removing the clamp based on what you produce.
Okay, and I once heard that there are no designated parking spots in Kingston. Is this true?
There are designated parking spot in Kingston.
There are?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Just needed to get that cleared up. All right.
Okay, so going into the
Okay, so to continue the loading bay,
okay.
or somebody is saying it's a keep clear sign. They're saying, but there are persons who put bricks and all sorts of stuff in the loading bay, I guess to inhibit persons from parking. What happens there? Can a business be charged? Or whoever put them down, can they be charged?
They can.
So I could get out my vehicle and move them.
Yes.
And the thing is, as the SP said, and the person is right, it is a keep clear, but it is used for the purpose of loading and offloading. So a business can't say that I own this spot because they can't own the government road. You understand? It's simple as you can't own the government road. So you can't tell a driver who comes to do business because he does do the business at your business place or at the next business place next door. Or maybe it's on the opposite side of the street that, oh, this is my loading bay. You can't park there. They don't have the right to tell the post that they can't park there.
I'm so happy we're having this conversation.
And you put bricks and other
cones.
Stuff that you're not supposed to put there. We at the department from time to time would have gone and remove these materials that were placed on these loading bay. And you can be charged for causing an inconvenience to the public in exercise of their common rights. You have no right to put these materials there to resolve a spot.
Okay.
So how does that work for businesses that have spaces in front of their places marked, well, with those same lines and it's marked reserved, I suppose, for the people that work in the building? That's fine? Or that follows the same rule?
Well, a business might have trucks that comes in and out regular, and they might put a sign there to say it's reserved for that purpose. So sometimes a little bit of discretion is exercised, but as we said before, by right, no cone or no material should be placed there because the keep clear sign speaks for itself, and the sign was placed there by the police.
All right, so somebody wants to know what is the keep clear sign. So for persons who may not be familiar, explain it to them. What is the keep clear sign? I just know it as the marking with the diagonal lines. That's it?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's the box with the yellow markings with the diagonal lines in there.
Okay.
Sometimes you might see words written keep clear
Okay.
because, for instance, approaching the crossing right at Hillsborough Street, and I'm not going to tell you where Hillsborough Street is. Approaching the crossing at Hillsborough Street because of the direction in which the traffic flow up by the market, and you have to exit on Hillsborough. There's a sign on the surface of the road marked keep clear. It will prevent persons that is exiting from that junction not to block the road, because persons on the main, which comes on from Bay Street, going on Hillsborough Street to join at Halifax Street, is to allow them to get a freeway. So sometimes the words keep clear will be painted on the surface of the road to alert you that you're not supposed to be stopping in this area.
So there's one just below stoplight as well at the Kingston Hill Junction that sometimes cause a major problem. Person just stop in the box there, blocking the traffic that is turning right to Kingston Hill Junction there.
Yeah.
So there's another one there as well.
See, signs are so important because Hillsborough Street, I can't even tell if I know where that is, right? Signs are so important.
Very.
We just know Bay Street, Back Street, and Middle Street.
I think
the
officer wants us to learn the name of our streets.
But it needs to be
names.
placed, sir. So we have a call. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I joined the program late. I'm not ready to fully comprehend what you're speaking about. But I know you're speaking about the cross marking, diagonal marking put in a box in front of some business places. Now, my question is, is there a police officer there?
Yes, two officers are on.
Okay.
On
What's the procedure for them putting a sign like that in front of a business? Does the business owner have to pay to have that done?
No. The simple procedure is that the proprietor of the business will make an application to the Commissioner of Police requesting a loading bay in front of their business. That request will be investigated, and the necessary findings will report to the commissioner, and he will determine whether or not it is necessary for a loading bay to be placed in front of the business.
Okay, so nobody, so I want to do a business with that business house. I cannot park there if it's empty.
You can stop there and to do your business.
But I notice at business places, the private vehicles for the business owner is normally parked on the spot.
It is wrong. And
is that okay?
It is not okay. And from time to time they are clamped. It is not an area designated for the owner of the business to park. And some people is of the belief that once the loading bay is placed in front of their business, it is for the boss to park. But mind you, the boss will get clamped.
I think that is more talk than action, actually, because I think almost every day you go into Kingston, you can see these things happening. So that's a lot of talk. However, I think if you're going to designate a loading bay for a business, you got prime space in Kingston, and they just get that for free, that they end up utilizing as their parking. I think that needs to be looked into. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thanks, caller. All right.
Right. So I think we're going to take a short ad break here, and then we will be back with more questions. You can call us when we come back. You can send us a WhatsApp message, 457-9997.
Yes, sir.
Our industry relies on all of us to play our part. We take pride in showcasing our beautiful island, our craft, our cuisine, and our warm Vincentian hospitality.
Each of us play a crucial role in showcasing our vibrant tourism industry.
We can create spaces where visitors can unwind, connect with nature, and embrace tranquility of our beautiful surroundings.
We need everyone on board to help us create an exceptional experience for our guests.
Join us at our National Tourism Community Consultations as we shape the future of tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's everyone's business, yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
Do you want to feel clean or refreshed after using the bathroom, whether at home, work, or play? Welcome to My Smart Toilet Seat. All of our products wash your private parts after using the bathroom without the use of your hands. Let's hear what our national table tennis champion, Damian Dublin, has to say.
I tried it and it works. There are 4 options. Simply add an attachment to your existing toilet seat, or choose a non-electric seat, or better, an electric seat that washes and dries you with warm water and air. Lastly, get a complete smart toilet that also flushes itself. What are you waiting for? Get your smart toilet seat today. Be smart, be refreshed, be clean, be a winner like me.
Our smart toilet seat is available throughout St. Vincent at retail outlets with the orange flags. You can call us at 457-1703 or visit our website at justwashit.vc.
That could have been you. An accident that could have been avoided because your tires had almost no grip on the road. Safety is a factor that should never be overlooked when it comes to your car or whatever you drive. SVG Tire Sales and Services in Balls Avenue and in Arnisvale carries a wide selection of quality new tires to fit any car, truck, minibus, or SUV, so you can experience a comfortable and safe commute every time. We are agents for the world's most reliable brands on and off the road, including Kenda Tires, the king of the mountain; Cooper Tires, king of the road and track; Ostone, the king of the outback; and High Fly, the king of the Asian highway. We also carry new tires for light or heavy duty trucks from MRF, High Fly, and Linglong. A reliable set of new tires keep you, your passengers, and your payload always in the safe lane. So when you need quality tires with reliability at 100%, choose SVG Tire Sales and Services in Kingstown, 457-1467, or in Arnisvale, 456-6444. SVG Tire Sales and Services. Performance and reliability proven when the rubber meets the road.
Nothing else sounds as good as WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Cop Chat. You've got questions for the police? They're here to give you the answers on WEFM 99.9.
Something is wrong with the human race. Preacher man say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in no use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
We are back with more of our Cup Chat right here on WEFM, along with myself, Roleza and I in studio this morning. We have Mr. Panel Brown, who is Assistant Superintendent of Police in the Traffic Department, and Mr. Kenny Jones, Station Sergeant of Police in the Traffic Department. And this morning, they are speaking on the topic, understanding our traffic laws and enforcement. And we have a caller on the line. Good morning to you, caller.
Yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning.
What a very important subject matter to deal with this morning. I want to zero in on the last caller. That very sensitive issue of these loading bays and these marks that you see in Kingston in front of business places. I've been a member of the Physical Planning Board for many years, and this subject has always been coming up, always coming up. And the gentleman ended it so nicely when he said, man, that is just talk. That is just talk. I have known of some business, I know some business places in Kingston where the owners of the business feel that they have a right to park in front of the building. As a matter of fact, Mr. Brown, who's responsible for the markings? Is it the police? Can a businessman call somebody and put some yellow markings in front of his business house and claim it?
Oh, the police is responsible to place markings.
Exactly. For the markings. But I am sure I've seen markings in front of business places that the police didn't put. And I am wondering why we allow, Ms. Samuel, you and Dianna, I think you all have a responsibility to the citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This particular morning show program, the information needs to be disseminated. I think it needs to hit the news, it needs to go in the newspaper. Not just use the information here on the program, but it should reach to the general public.
Well,
because
we know
that too many of these business people are getting away with this, figure that they can park the vehicle in front of the business and the thing is, when they come and meet you, they make a noise and they make a noise because it's their spot. And I get real pissed about it sometimes. So I am hoping that you will do something further than leaving the information here on the program this morning and disseminate it out to the general public. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Carlo. All right. Well, I know that there are many media houses that listen to the Cop Chat and they take excerpts and they use them as articles. So I know that that is a sore spot in particular. So we hope that it will be highlighted. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
I just want to weigh in on the topic. It's a very serious topic with the loading bays. For example, you have Singer. Singer does not have a marking. Every day, Singer put a sign, no parking. You cannot park there. The loading bay from the street where Abuse Auto is, that is blocked every day. The loading bay at the corner of where Football Federation is, the guy normally blocked there with a cone. That is blocked every day. You don't have no parking from the street of Subway downtown down to the end of Gonzavlica. Gonzavlica has taken up the whole parking space. You cannot park there for the day. You have basically QK block the loading bay as well. The loading bays at Bickles go down to the end to Bonady there. That whole street is blocked off with business owners saying that is their parking. Lanes opposite the complex, they normally put cones as well. Diamond Girl as well, opposite the taxi stand. So it's a very serious.
I see you have a list, man. Well, you're trying to find parking in town. I understand.
Parking, everybody takes the parking like it's their parking. And the police does nothing about it because I have a situation with the owner of a Lady J. A police was there and he couldn't even resolve the issue because every day she put bricks there to block the parking. And I wanted to know who normally in charge of to paint the loading days because the businesses are saying that is their parking. If you drive through Bickles right now uptown, you can't get no parking. There, everything is blocked right down to where Bobby sells foods, everything. You can't get no parking. So as the other caller said, they just talk on the radio, nothing is being published to say, well, yes, it is wrong, you're committing an offense by doing this. There's nothing. Even Gecko put down cones. So if you want to go to the ATM, where do you park? Where do you park to go to the ATM and do business?
All right, caller. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. All right. So we go ahead. Okay.
I know. I just wanted to respond to the previous caller who was talking about the dissemination of the information. You can also listen to WEFM News. WEFM has news at 12:15, news at 3, news at 6, news at 7, and news in brief at 9:55. So there's usually excerpts from the Cup Chat presentations in WEFM News as well as other media houses, right?
Provided that persons are listening to radios.
Right. That too.
Well, I guess, but no, you see, this is the other thing, right? Because the RSVGPF, you have social media accounts.
Yeah.
So yes, it's one thing for it to be said here during our program, but you can tell that this is one of those topical issues here for Vincentian. So utilizing your social media pages as well as this forum and other media houses is going to hopefully help to hammer home the point. But I think another thing is police informing the business places that they do not own that piece of road, right? They also need to be reminded, and there needs to be that reinforcement.
That has been constantly communicated to the businesses. I want to touch the last caller, which speaks about singer. I mean, there isn't a designated loading bet singer for singer. There was one on Halifax Street.
Isn't that one between where Bickles is and where they are?
There's a loading bay
there
on Egmont Street, which will incorporate all the business. And I specifically went to Bickles and I told them the security there, because I went there to just drop off something, and the security came out and said, "You can't park there." I said, "You can't stop me from park there."
You in uniform?
No, I wasn't in uniform. I said, "You can't stop me from park here." And I moved the iron grill that they had there. And I said, "This is for the members of the public who wants to do business. You can't stop me from park here. Your duty is to secure the business inside." But somebody probably would have told him, "Boy, that is a police officer." But for the persons who are not police, who are not we need to really act on their behalf. I mean, I ain't wrong the callers. They are speaking things that they are seeing happening. But we are we're constantly educating the business owners that the loading bay does not belong to you or the business.
Or parking
It is for business. It is for businesses in the area generally to use so as not to stop in the road to inconvenience the public while traversing our roads.
All right. Anything else?
Well, it's just the caller before had mentioned about persons painting keep clear signs, and these signs are painted by persons who are not police, right? There was one instance where I remember a sign was painted in front of a business, and when it was brought to the knowledge of the police, that keep clear had to be removed. So once there's any sign painted in front of any business that was not done by the police, and that is brought to our knowledge, you would have to get some black paint or whatever to have that sign removed from there. So that is something that we want the general public to know. And in front of Gecko, I mean, if you're gonna use the ATM and a cone is there, you move the cone, you pull in.
You see, that thing people didn't know you could move anything because I could see confrontation
and the security
happening.
will come and say things.
You get the money and then you come back out and you go, because there's some persons who are challenged and might can't walk from point A to point B. So you remove the cone or remove whatever is there, and you pull in and you do business and you maybe you nicely put back the cone and you ask somebody to put it back and you go about your business.
All right. So I think we may have exhausted that loading bay topic just a little bit. But yes, the message needs to get out and needs to be reinforced. Before we leave, one of the things, we recognize that more and more vehicles are coming into St. Vincent and the Grenadines, right? What active measures or steps are being put in place to deal with the traffic congestion? I know we can't necessarily widen the roads because of the fact that there are many houses along the roads, and to have to move, for instance, is going to be, well, it's going to be impractical. But from a real vantage point, what measures, what steps are being done? As Dianna said, with traffic department, along with the stakeholders, what active measures are going to be done? I know for us on the leeward side, we kind of okay, unless a container turn over in the road somewhere, but especially on the windward side, what's happening?
There are ongoing talks and discussions with Ministry of Transport and Works and the police, but the government as a whole, so as to how they can make the roads of St. Vincent and the Grenadines wider and safer for motorists. There are discussion taking place presently. So you might see an increase in lanes assignments.
Okay, good. All right. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning to the panel there. Just a question. That question might sound as stupid. But in Kingston, we would deal with street. But in the country, we deal with road. Is there any difference?
Caller, could you repeat that, please?
Well, what's asking? In Kingston, we deal with streets, say, back street, middle street, some street in Kingston. Mm-hmm. But in the country now, I say, okay, Georgetown Road, Mesopotamia Road. I just want to find that difference in that.
Oh, between the use of the word street and road?
Road, yeah.
Okay.
Generally, there are roads, but it in villages, in towns, they have specific names to where you can identify them. Identify them by.
I see. But they are all roads.
They are roads.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's
just more information.
Okay. All right. No problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right. So anything final on anything you wanted to add with the addressing traffic issues? We have a caller. I don't know if you had anything else that you wanted to finish up. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Yeah, I don't know if the police in St. Vincent is that generous, but I saw some generosity a little while back. I was at the Cheddy Jagan International Airport, and I saw a policeman came there with 2 clamps. I thought 2 cars were parked outside the airport, and they were asking the people sitting down on the bench in the nearby shop if that car is theirs. And then, nobody car was there, and then they clamp it afterwards, so they at least give somebody a chance to move it. I don't know if the police in St. Vincent is that generous. I'll listen off the air.
All right. Are you all that generous?
We are more than generous in many ways and one.
Okay.
But you have instances where the police would ask, yes, who parked their vehicle there? And there are instances where persons would be standing there knowing that they parked their vehicle there. Mm. And I'm not saying that, yes, I parked my vehicle here, I'm the driver of this vehicle. Mm. So there are instances where it do happen. Okay. The police would maybe even make a driver wrong a second time. Understand, before they make the decision to maybe clamp the vehicle.
Okay. All right, so we have another caller. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning. Just to say to that caller, as an ex-traffic officer, the police is even more generous than asking around for names of persons if persons are parked there. The police will go as far as accessing its cell phone number for the owner of the vehicle to call the person. That's how generous the police in St. Vincent are. Thank you.
All right. All right. So let's deal with this other topic. When somebody is pulled over as a driver, what is the procedure? What is the process that's supposed to happen from there? So you indicate that as a driver, I'm supposed to pull over. What happens next?
Now, a police officer dressed in uniform, conducting traffic, observe that whether he might be conducting traffic or patrolling, observe that an offense has been committed, or he have doubts of the legitimacy of a vehicle or a driver, he or she, the police officer, will pull that driver to the side of the road and, good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good morning, mom. Good afternoon, mom. I observe that you have committed a breach of the traffic regulation. They must tell you what is the breach. A police officer shouldn't pull you over for the sake of pulling you over without telling you the reason why they pull you over. If they want to carry out a check on your motor vehicle, or they want to know if you have your driver's license in your possession, which they'll say you have to, they should tell you the reason of pulling you over. And in a polite manner, after greeting you, they should tell you what's the offense or what's the nature of the business. And if they're going to issue a ticket, or if they're going to issue a warning, if it doesn't have your driver's license in your position, and they tell you, Mom, it is an offense for failing to have your driver's license in your position, or Mom, I observed that you're driving a vehicle and your digit on your number plate is 1, and I observed that your vehicle is not displaying the correct license sticker. Or they might want to inspect your driver's license to see if you're a legitimate driver, or if your driver's license is paid. But they must tell you the nature of their business while pull you over. And in so doing, if they're going to issue you a ticket, they will, as I said before, tell you what's the offense you committed, and ask you, can I have your driver's license in order to ascertain your correct name and address? Now, failing to give the police your driver's license, you might say it is home, or it is in a bag, or it is in a pants, there is an offense. If they ask you for your correct name and address, and you tell them, man, the police will observe your demeanor. Say, man, my name is Paul Wickham. But if within his mind, he believes that you're giving him an incorrect name and address, he can take you into the barracks so as to ascertain your correct name and address, because remember, it is not his fault that you doesn't have your driver's license with you. Now, what I will do, tell my officers from time to time, ask the person if they have any other identification on them. But the offense of failing to have your driver's license in your possession still exists. The reason for asking for any other identification, because you might have your national ID or your passport, which carries your photo and your name. If that is absent, then, and he or she believes that you're giving them a fictitious name or a wrong name and address, they have the rights to carry you in to ascertain your correct name and address. Okay. Now, someone might say, but officer, you just dealt with me yesterday and I gave you my name. Sometimes they doesn't remember. The onus is not on the officer to remember that he or she dealt with you days ago or hours ago. So to remember your name. And sometimes people go and change their name. So you might know them as Paul Loman when they are Paul de Souza, or they are Javette de Souza. So it is very, very important that you have your driver's license in your possession or some form of ID when traversing our roads.
All right, so we have a caller. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning to you and your guests. This question is to the two officers. I really don't care which one answers. Well, two questions and a short comment. Are you familiar with the Constitution of St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
Okay, what's the question? The other question, Joshua?
Yes, that's the first question. He needs to answer the first one and then the second.
Yes.
All right. is it available to the general public?
The Constitution?
Yes.
Yes, you can access the Constitution whether at the public library or the government printery.
No, the reason I ask those questions is that I'm listening to this program, and it looks like if I'm looking at a game of tic-tac-toe, because all of these questions and all of these concerns, they are addressed in the Constitution of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So I would suggest that I have a copy. All of us gain access, and we would not be playing tic-tac-toe like this at all, because this is what I'm listening to this morning. Have a great day.
All right. With regards to when persons are pulled over, what would you advise persons for their... Well, we have another caller. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Well, I just can't understand what the first guy said, because the Constitution is there. You have a smartphone, you put www.gov.com and you get everything. Traffic laws, every law. Anyway, officer, if I have my driver's license photoed on my phone, which I do, I just take a picture, kind of when it might last on me or before they could get to go back for it. Will that be enough evidence to provide if an officer pull me over and I say, okay then? It looked like I dropped my license maybe 5 minutes ago and I went by the restaurant to take out something and blah, blah, blah. And I show him it on my phone, the photo. Will that be enough?
Well, it's going to be at the discretion of the officer there and then, because the officer is the first magistrate. He's going to have to make a decision whether he accepts the driver's license on the photo by observing it properly to make sure that the face on that photo matches the face that is driving the motor vehicle. Yeah. So it's going to be at the officer's discretion. He's going to have to make that decision there and then as to whether he accepts it or he want to make further checks or take it to the closest station to verify that because we know what persons can do with cell phone sometimes. So it's going to be the officer's call there.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, caller. All right, so with regards to somebody being pulled over, what would you advise for their general demeanor to be like when pulled over by an officer?
To remain calm and cooperate with the police at all times.
Okay.
Because although the police are professionals, sometimes the environment in which you're in and the way how things are being dealt with, you can't take anything for granted. So it is very important that you remain calm at all times and cooperate with the police.
What sort of documentation do conductors need to have?
They need to have their conductor's license. That is payable every year. Expires the 31st of December every year.
All right, then. I think this may be my final question. I think we touched on some of this already during the other questions, but what are some of the other rights of the drivers? What are some of the rights of drivers? You don't understand?
You mean if we're pulled over?
Right. So,
okay. So we have
let's take the call.
Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. My question is: at what time of the days should we expect to see traffic cops in action? I have the experience where I expect there to be a traffic officer on the road, but there's none, and the traffic is very, very, very busy. There's a specified time that they actually walk on the road. Thank you.
All right. Interesting question.
It is expected for traffic officers, police to be on the road at all times during the day.
So just look for you at any point in time.
At any point in time.
During the day. All right.
There are times when you have other activities that we might exhaust your resources, that you might not have the full complement of officer to cover that shift, but there are always police officers on the road.
Okay.
All right. And with that,
okay. Well, so I just had one final question. Well, maybe two questions. Okay. So let's see with this one first. When a vehicle has broken down on the road, on a public road, right? What should be the best practice of the owner of that vehicle?
And the vehicle should be left abandoned on the street for more than 24 hours. So we advise persons, and we've seen it, where persons, the vehicle broken down and they try to fix that vehicle and they spend a very long time fixing that vehicle on the road, and it cause sometimes a major congestion to the traffic on the road. So we advise persons, if you could get a tow truck to remove that vehicle, depends on what mechanical issue it might have, you have it removed as soon as, instead of leaving it there abandoned on the road maybe for a 24-hour period or so.
So no fixing of vehicles on the public road, right? Or in the road itself?
No vehicle should be repaired on any street throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Okay. All right. And my final question, what are some of the challenges that you face as traffic officers, and how best can we cooperate with the traffic department? Because, well, let me ask this question here. So somebody had asked, with reference to the body cameras, when will the police start wearing the body cameras? And if the camera records a traffic offense accidentally, will the driver be charged? Okay, so when will you start? I'm not sure if the body cameras are supposed to be assigned to traffic department, but if so, when will that be happening? And if you record an accident happening, will that driver be charged? Okay.
Discussions on that haven't been held for the police in general.
Okay. All right. So I thought that was fine, but let me just yes, that was all of these, right? So what about people who leave sand in the road? Anything? Oh, all right. This is going to be a long morning. We have another call. All right. But we do have to cut it off.
Again, we advise persons, because we know some persons live in some very complex area where they'd have to damp the sand and maybe remove it by putting it in sacks or whatever. But as soon as the law provides a specific time in which these materials should be moved from the road, and it's amongst causing an inconvenience to the public. So you can be prosecuted if the sand or stones or whatever materials is placed is not removed within a specific time.
All right, another question. So I'm going to just do these last two, right? When are police going to deal with derelict vehicles in SVG?
There's an ongoing program, a collaborative effort between the traffic department and solid waste. There has been something ongoing where we serve notices to have persons remove it within a 24-hour, 48 period, and solid waste have their own legislation where they would tag a motor vehicle and they would also give a specific time in which that motor vehicle should be removed. If that is not being done, solid waste or even the police has the authority where they could remove that motor vehicle. But that is an ongoing program, and they look at certain areas that they would target maybe on a day-to-day basis where they would go in along with the police and solve persons and then go back and remove these vehicles from the site.
Okay. And final to end on a good note, the challenges that you face and how best can us as citizens make your job not as difficult or to be more cooperative? What final thoughts can you leave there with us?
And I think one of the major challenges sometimes is the officers on duty and they giving direction sometimes to persons. And so I just want to advise persons. The officer is placed there to regulate the traffic, and sometimes we have persons question why should I go so? You understand me? Just cooperate with the police. He's there for a reason, and he understands the reason why he might be giving a direction. And yes, sometimes the police will explain to you that so you have to go this way because there's an accident or this is happening on the road at this time. Understand me? But it's just a matter of you cooperating with the officer, and once we work together, it makes life easier for the police and for the general public on a whole.
Okay. And SP Brown?
First, let me just publicly apologize to the general public for the inconvenience caused in Villa yesterday with that truck that was broken down in the road. Let me publicly apologize for the information not disseminating fast enough so that persons could make the alternative route to proceed towards their homes. Generally, the members of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, we are trying to forge a good relationship with the general public. And communication and understanding is very important. And in doing so, we need the cooperation of the general public. And persons need to know or be reminded that the police who are doing law enforcement comes from the family, comes from the community, comes from the villages where they comes from. They are not superhuman beings. They are human beings. They were trained to perform their duty in a particular way. And it is not for you to go and challenge them as to the level of their training, but it's for you to go and support. And because sometimes you don't know the mental status of the officer. While he might be a well-trained officer and disciplined, but there are times when you have to consider the job that he is doing and the other components of his life. And you have to realize that sometimes this man is a human being and the mental status that he might be in might not be that of thing. So you need to give consideration and good support to the police for doing a wonderful job. So I will urge the general public to give as much information and be supportive of the police as much as possible, and we'll make the society a wonderful one to live.
All right.
Okay, then, and on that note, we have come to the end of our Cop Chat program here on WEFM. This morning, we had in studio with us Station Sergeant Kenny Jones and Assistant Superintendent of Police Parnell Brown, both attached to the Traffic Department. And we were talking about understanding our traffic laws and enforcement. It is now, well, first of all, let me say thank you, officers, for joining us this morning. We are looking forward to greater things from the Traffic Department. So a lot of the issues that we spoke on here today, we're hoping that by the end of 2025, those things would not exist. They're going to go big. Would not exist. All will be taken care of. And with that, we are going to head out and go straight into our ECCB